Today we're going to work on the worksheet called one-step equations. This should be a review and it should go really quickly. So each one of these is an equation that has only a single operation on there. So number 1 says 26 equals 8 plus v. The goal is to get v by itself, so I need to move that 8 to the other side. How do you move 8 to the other side? Subtract. How do we know subtract and not divide? Well, what's holding the 8 and the v together? Addition. And the opposite of addition is subtraction. Now, it's a little bit confusing because if it was a negative 8, then I would add. But if I subtract 8, whoa, my screen's way off. Hang on a second. So if I subtract 8 from both sides, 26 minus 8 is 18, and 8 minus 8 is 0, and I'm left with v. Why am I allowed to do that? Okay, that's the rule. Do you understand why that's legal? So hopefully this will help. Let's say I had a big balance and I had 26 1-pound rocks on one side, and then on the other side I had 8 1-pound rocks and a big lump called x. My goal here is to figure out how much x weighs. So, as long as that balance is even, as long as the equality is true, that equal sign is true, I can do everything I want. So if I were to come over here and remove 1 pound off of this side, what's going to happen to my balance? It's going to shift like this. Can I fix it? If I took 1 pound off the other side, then it would level out again. And I would have 25 pounds on this side and 7 pounds plus the x on the other side. So you can do anything you want to any side of this equation as long as you do the same thing to the other side and keep that balance level. The equality, the equal sign, is just a balance. Everything on the left side essentially weighs the same as everything on the right side. So if you were to take 8 pounds off of one side and you take 8 pounds off the other, it still balances. And if we do that, so if we get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds, and we get rid of 8 pounds over here, how many pounds are left? 18. So as long as you do the same thing on both sides of the equations, that equal sign is still true. If you take 6 pounds off one side and take 7 off the other, then it's no longer balanced. The tricky thing is sometimes you're not subtracting stuff. For instance, number 4. Number 4 says negative 15 plus n equals negative 9. This is a little bit weird. How do you have a negative 9? How do you have negative 9 pounds on a balance? And one way to do it is to think you have a bunch of balloons, 9 of them, and they're pulling this way 1 pound each. And on the other side, we have 15 balloons pulling up, and we also have this weight called n pushing down. So how do we find out how much it takes? Well, I have to get rid of these 15 balloons. In the equation, how do you get rid of 15 balloons? You add 15 to the other side. How do I add 15 pounds over here? Well, I have 9 balloons, so I pop 9 balloons. That that essentially adds 9 pounds. Then what? So I go through, get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pounds. But I needed to add 15 pounds, so I need to put a 6-pound weight over here. And now n is equal to 6. So if I add 15 to both sides, this negative 15 and the positive 15 cancel, and I get n equals 6. That's how much the original n weighed. Does that make sense? Okay. Look at number 11. So number 11 says negative 104 equals 8x. So what is holding the 8 and the x together? Multiplication. Whenever you're solving for a variable, you undo the operation that's listed. So if the operation is addition, you subtract. If the operation is multiplication, you divide. If the operation is divide, you multiply. So the opposite of multiply by 8 is divide by 8. So we'll divide both sides by 8. On the left side, negative 104 over 8 is negative 13, I think. We want to check that. Equals, what is 8 divided by 8? 1. Wait a minute, does that mean I got rid of it? It's 1x, and 1 times x is x. So another important thing to remember is, when you're adding and subtracting, nothing is 0. What can you add and do nothing? What number can you add to 6 and not change 6? 0. Same with subtraction. 6 minus 0 is 6. But when it comes to multiplication and division, nothing is the number 1. So when we say cancel, addition canceling means turn it into a 0. Multiplication and division canceling means turn it into a 1. So 8 divided by 8 is 1, which as far as multiplication is concerned, that's nothing. 8 times what is 8? And the answer is 1. 1 is the multiplication identity. It's the number that doesn't do anything. Okay. So number 13, it's b divided by 18. What's the opposite of divide by 18? Multiply by 18. So that's 60 and 40, 104? No, that doesn't sound right. Negative 108 equals b. Does that multiplication thing still work on the balance? So let's say I had 6 equals 2x. So over here, I have 6 pounds, and over here, I have 2 x's. How do you solve this? How do you solve 6 equals 2x? Divide by 2. Get rid of half of what's there. So divide by 2 and divide by 2, I get 3 equals x. Over here in the picture, I just get rid of half of what's there. Is that still going to balance? Yes. I threw out half of the x's and I threw off half of the weights, so it's still going to balance. All right. So each one of these only involves a single step, and that should be pretty easy to solve. So good luck.